The day has finally come. Long awaited and much anticipated, Update 4.4 has released for Battlefield 5. In today's video, I'm going to be bringing you all the details on what exactly has been changed, added and fixed in this update, as well as a small sneak peek as to what to expect from the coming updates this month. Before, however, we get into the finer details, for those who just want a quick rundown, TLDR version, Update 4.4 brings major stability improvements and bug fixes alongside new content in the form of Lofoten Island, Provence and Mercury on Squad Conquest, 2 new weapons, and the max rank increase to max rank 500, alongside some changes to parachute behavior and the rebalancing of bolt actions and SMGs. For those who then are interested in the finer details in form of the new content of Lofoten Island and Provence, which was of course reviewed somewhat critically over at Gamescom a few weeks back, we do know that currently they're being implemented on only Squad Conquest and TDM, with them possibly being implemented on Domination at a later date. Further game modes have yet to be confirmed. Also, the addition of Mercury Squad Conquest means that we likely will see DICE continue to push Squad Conquest as one of the permanent game modes that they've added and wish to keep around. Regarding the 2 new weapons added, they are specifically the Panzerbuchse 39 and Breda M1935 PG, the Burst Assault Rifle, and they'll be coming in the 2 next respective Tides of War weekly challenges, where you'll be able to unlock them by completing that weekly assignment. In terms of the most important and most influential bug fixes, we do have some general improvements to stability and crashing, a specific performance improvement to issues related to breaking armor over in Firestorm. Then we have fixes for some of the assignments in the game, specifically the MAB 38 Mastery 6 assignment, which should now correctly display the completion requirements required, as well as the S2 200 Mastery 4 and Proficiency 4 assignments, which should now track correctly, which supposedly they weren't doing previously. Then we have a fix for the Sturmtiger Flare and Smoke, which now can correctly be resupplied. The T-38 tank spotting specialization should be fixed. The Top Gunner invincibility bug on tanks should be fixed, a particularly annoying one, that one. And of course there are a number of other small fixes and changes made, but if you want the full details on all the further bug fixes, I do suggest you go check out the full patch notes because they are quite lengthy and I don't want this to be a 20-minute video. Moving on thus to the weapon changes, and there's been quite a bit of rebalancing here, specifically over on the sniper rifles and SMGs, but also more generally speaking. So we have improved hipfire accuracy while jumping for most of the weapons in the game, improved hipfire accuracy while moving using the enhanced grip specialization across the board for weapons capable of equipping that specialization. Then we have a first shot recoil increase of around 150% for the MMGs. Now the vertical recoil will decrease to the current values we have in the game by the 5th shot, but do expect more changes to be coming to the MMGs because it is currently scheduled as one of the major update parts for update 4.6 coming towards the end of September. Then we have adjusted bullet penetration for the bolt actions and self-loading rifles, as well as the AT rifle, specifically there however for damage through materials, and we have increased melee damage from light melee weapons with an increase from 27 all the way up to 35. Then in more specific categories of weapon, the bolt actions are seeing their minimum and maximum damages increased respectively by 5 or 6 damage points depending on which of the weapons it is. Of course this gives none of the weapons a different bullet to kill or time to kill, but should make follow-up shots on targets already wounded a little bit more consistent and negate some of the effects of people quickly equipping their bandages and thus healing up enough to take a second body shot before going down. In form of the SMG changes, there is quite substantial things happening. We have both vertical and horizontal recoil changes, mostly actually decreases pretty much across the board for all of the weapons, as well as some specialization changes. Now, most reductions are happening in the form of maximum vertical recoil reductions. However, there is also some first shot or initial recoil reductions. However, they are significantly less. Of the weapons noteworthy to point out where the changes are most severe, the MP28 is seeing a 12 to 13% reduction in its horizontal recoil. The MP34 is actually seeing a 4% increase to its vertical recoil, as well as a reduction to its maximum vertical recoil, alongside the recoil buffer specialization being replaced with the enhanced grip specialization, trading of course further vertical recoil reduction for better hipfire performance. And lastly, for the MP35, the horizontal recoil has been reduced by 20%. So a mixed bag for the MP34's changes. The MP40 is the second of the SMGs to see an increase to its vertical recoil, in this case by 13.5% on its initial vertical recoil, with reductions, however, to its maximum vertical recoil. Then the M1928A1, or more commonly referred to as Tommy Gun, as well as the Swarmy, are seeing their ported barrel specializations replaced with custom stock specializations, meaning that they now have better accuracy while moving specializations available instead of the horizontal recoil reduction specializations that they previously were able to equip. However, they have also at the same time seen a roughly 14.5% reduction in their horizontal recoil to somewhat compensate for the loss of that specialization, meaning that they now more or less across the board perform better, especially if you previously were not equipping the horizontal recoil reducing specializations for those two weapons. Then, in game mechanics and changes that are worth mentioning, players can now throw back not only foreign and enemy grenades, but also their own grenades. AP mines will now no longer despawn after death, a very unfortunate change in my personal opinion, and parachutes can now be opened earlier, allowing for more frequent use of them to prevent falling damage deaths from lethal heights. In addition to that, there's been an increase to the height at which fatal fall damage occurs. In other words, jumping off stuff should now be a little bit easier and falling to your death a little bit less frequent. Also, we have changes and improvements to the tanker and pilot uniforms, but because I currently do not have access to a working computer that is able to run Battlefield 5, I can't exactly confirm what that entails. Hopefully they look slightly less boring now and a little bit more exciting. Then in platform-specific updates, we have improvements to the comros over on PC, and over on Xbox One and PS4, we have specific achievement problems being fixed for the achievements Jack of All Trades, Globetrotter, Death from Above, and Elite Trophy. Also, we've got some restructuring for some of the file storage systems used in the game, supposedly to allow further changes down the line. I hope this allows DICE to fix some of the issues they previously weren't able to because of the way Frostbite was preventing them from doing so. Things like, for example, changing the type of assignment in game, but there's absolutely no official word yet on what exactly they're going to be using this restructuring of files to be able to change later on in the game. What it does mean, however, is that this game update is going to be particularly large, so it's going to require a little bit of time, both to install and of course to download from the servers. Then, surprisingly, we also got a little bit of news in the update notes on what to expect from update 4.6. Not, however, on what to expect from update 4.5, the supposed and confirmed next update, which leads me to believe that likely the two of them are going to be merged into one, given that this update was of course late, making for one larger update towards the end of September, bringing us not only the new map Operation Underground, hopefully also a finished and final version of Al Sundan, some major changes to MMG gameplay, something I know a lot of players will be looking forward to and a select few will not be happy about, and some further improvements to game performance and stability. If update 4.5 is also being included in update 4.6, that would also mean we likely would see some of the changes to sliding that have been confirmed for 4.5. All that being said then, I'd love to hear your opinion on update 4.4 and if it has restored any of your hope in DICE turning Battlefield 5 around. So leave your opinion and of course your usual video suggestions and feedback down below in the comments, or hit me up with them over on Twitter. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. But with all that being said, I'd like to thank you very much for watching and hope to see you in the next Battlefield 5 video.